Hello, good evening and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio. Hello, good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio. I'm Southside and joining myself on the show this evening is AK and the legend, the Bridgeman. How are you, gentlemen?
Good evening, Southside. Good evening, Bridgeman, the techie team, and everybody that's listening.
Good evening to yourself, Southside, and of course AK and the techie boys in the background. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans that are listening in all over the world, good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
Hi, can I give a shout out to the two trips now that are in YouTube channel joining the show, also everyone else listening in on Facebook, Mixlr, and so I hope you enjoy the show this evening. How are you, AK? Enjoying the sunshine?
The sunshine. Aye, of course. Summer's upon us, isn't it? The season's nearly over. The sun shines in Ibrox as usual.
Bridgeman, what about yourself? You just having it lying outside in the lounge or in the garden?
Aye, I've got a terrace in my penthouse.
Of course you would, yes.
And it's lovely,
Fortress.
yeah, it's lovely. I'm not that good in the sun, so my wife does most of that. She'll get in, and I go out and sit down and read, you know. But well, they don't last as long as her, you know. But no, it's lovely. The weather's been great these last couple of days. It's a bit wet this morning, admittedly, where I live, but it soon dried up. Brilliant.
What about the butlers? He's still bringing you out the cocktails and that?
The butler, absolutely. You've got to do it. You've got to try it. You'll see. Try it and you'll see. Have you not got one?
I've not got a butler.
Am I in your position in life? Come on.
I know. I've just no bothered. He's sacked him. He's getting too expensive.
Sacked him.
We've not got a butling, Bridgeman. We've not got a butler. We've got a butland.
I should get him. Should maybe hire him. So anyway.
He's probably dropped the glasses.
I know, I was thinking that I might start damaging the stuff in the house. Keep my way for the dishwasher. Anyway, I'll tell you about today. It's early doors. We'll just listen to the first half. It's only 5 minutes long of Barry's interview today. We'll have a wee chat about that and then we'll get the show cracking. We'll get the lines opened after the first bit. So if you two guys don't mind, we'll hit mute and we'll listen to what Barry had to say.
Barry, how's the squad looking heading into Sunday's match?
We've got a couple of players back. Leon trained today with a mask on, so he looked fine. Again, we'll need to obviously see how he reacts tomorrow, but good to see him back. Obviously get a minor operation on his fracture of the cheekbone, so it was good to see him back out today.
I know there was a lot of frustration after the game last weekend. Have you had to change anything this week in the build-up to Sunday's match?
Well, there was a lot of frustration for a number of reasons because I wasn't happy with the way the game went. Again, we've had a full week. We've spent a bit of time. We went through certain scenarios that I wasn't happy with. We've still got obviously another day to go. We'll do a lot more work tomorrow, but they're clear on what I wasn't happy with. That needs to improve, and I expect a big improvement on Sunday.
You'd obviously said that you felt maybe some of the instructions that you'd worked on during the week hadn't been followed in that game. Is that something that you're hoping to see change this weekend?
Yeah, it better change. And it has to change, so that's something again we spoke about as a group. That's something that I wasn't happy with. That was clear. You seen that after the game. So again, we went through a lot this week, and I expect him to take the information on.
A lot of the time, these bigger games haven't been the issue for Rangers this season. Obviously, got a good win against Celtic at Parkhead, and your visit there. Hoping for a similar type of performance at Ibrox on Sunday to that one that got you the win there.
I couldn't care less about the performance. I just want to get 3 points. It's a bonus for me if you play well in the games. I tend to know what happened in the past. That was a number of weeks ago, and I will expect the same level, if not better, in Sunday.
Do you think that's been an issue at the club, that too much focus has been on performance rather than the be all and end all, which is winning games?
Andy, I've said it all along, I couldn't care about how we perform. Look, I know a lot of people want to see free-flowing, attractive football, and I totally get that, but it's all about winning games of football, and it's clear that we've no won enough this season, and it's something that we need to get better at going forward, not just this season, but next season and the following season after that.
There's obviously pictures this week of the new consortium taking a look around the club. For your sense, just I think a lot of supporters without that would feel pretty hopeless with the way that the club's going, the run of failure, I suppose. Do you think this is something that can offer them hope for the new season?
Yeah, certainly. We're all excited because it's something that the club have been wanting, is outside investment. It looks to me if it's going along smoothly, and we're just waiting to obviously get the thumbs up that everything's done and dusted, and it's the start of a new era for the club, because it certainly needs it. So, yep, I'm just like everybody else. I'm just looking forward to the day that it gets signed off, and hopefully it's a brighter future for Rangers.
Does it feel like your team has to add into that this weekend to try and add to that sense of optimism that's starting to very slowly sort of build around the support?
Yeah, listen, we've got to deal with ourselves first and foremost. Look, last week's performance was one that annoyed me, made me angry, and I was clear on that in the dressing room. I've been clear on that this week, so I'm expecting, as I said, a better performance, because as I said, everybody's playing for the futures, because it's going to be hopefully start of something really positive and good for the club.
Kevin was up here. Did you have any chance to have a sit down with him?
Yep, I did, and I had a long meeting with him. It was good. First time I've sat down with him. I was impressed by him, but obviously what was said will remain private. You know I'm going to say that, but yeah, it was great to, as I said, bang heads together. He got my feelings. He totally understood them, but yeah, very impressive, and it's something that I think will work really good for the club. One
way or another, but you think plans are already starting to take shape for the new season?
Well, we need to. We're a couple of weeks away for the season finishing, and before you know it, you're back in pre-season. Before you know it, you've got Champions League qualifiers, and then the league starts. So, yep, it's clear that Rangers as a club need to start moving, because, as I mentioned there, the season's just round the corner.
Was it important for you to speak to the consortium at all?
No, I just briefly, for a few minutes, welcomed them to the training centre, but I had more important stuff to do. I've got to prepare for an Old Firm game, but we seen them round about the place, and that was it basically. Then I sat down with Kevin, and now I'm just looking forward to getting hopefully 3 points.
Did your chat with Kevin make your own position going forward any clearer?
Listen, what was said in the room will remain private. I come out the meeting feeling good about it, and I'm hopeful Kevin did as well, because we understand that there's going to be a lot of changes. There has to be a lot of changes to try and make this club successful again, because it's built on winning trophies, and it's clear over the last number of years that we've won nowhere near enough.
Sounds like either way, whatever happens, you're excited about?
Of course, yeah. I've said that if I'm not going to be here, I'm excited about the prospect of new owners coming in. Kevin coming in as a sporting director, head of the football department. So I said changes had to happen. These changes now are starting to happen. So if I'm a Rangers supporter, which am I, and the hundreds of thousands that are out there, they should be excited at what's hopefully going to be coming.
Aye, I had a lot to say there, AK. I think the first thing that we always think about is player availability, and it seems to be that Balogun's trained and he's got a mask fitted. He's had his operation, so you think that he'll be making the team on Sunday.
He'll certainly be available for selection, which is a good thing, Southside. Balogun, obviously age is catching up with him, but certainly for effort and endeavour and will to win and what we're looking for out of a Rangers player, Balogun has it in droves, but unfortunately he's 10 years too late for us. But if he's fit and available, and even with the mask, what we witnessed last week against St Mirren's nowhere near good enough. I'd be starting Balogun without a second thought, to be honest with you. I don't know about you, Bridge.
I was going to say to Bridge, well, after last week, Enciala, we blamed for a goal. Shooter caught in possession a couple of times, not too clever, and Shooter proper. Didn't have anywhere near standards that he showed before. He'd really a shocker last week. So you'd think Balogun would certainly be considered to come into the team, Bridge.
Oh, I have to say, based on just the last game we had against St Mirren, our defence were absolutely terrible, just dreadful. Every one of them, just very poor. But the double centre halves running into each other and goodness knows what, all that nonsense that we're on. I'm really disappointed in Proper. I actually did think he was a good move for us, but unfortunately it's not turning out that way. I would suggest he's got about 3 yards in his game missing, and that's in thought and physical, It's just no there. And he's supposed to have been a really good player at both I think it was the Dutch league he was playing in, and of course international. So he's supposed to have been a really good player, but he's not brought it to Ibrox, and it's never shown, in my opinion. He's played a couple of games where he's been not too bad, and I thought it was good coming here because I quite liked him. But it's not there. But I think we need to watch it because I like Balogun. I do like him. But remember the guy's, 35, 36-ish, that area. So, he's not the fastest. He's lost a lot of his pace. Of course, it would happen at that age. But I think Balogun's been I wish we'd have got him. AK says 10 years. I do believe it was probably, it would have been brilliant if we'd have got him 10 years ago. Absolutely superb.
Aye, he's certainly, I think this will be swan song coming out the last few games should he be selected, but I think it's a game that I think he's proved that he's played pretty well in a lot of games. He's good aerial battles, high balls coming in. He's pretty dominant there, has been in the past. So I just think it's a no-brainer. I think if he's got enough fitness and he's fine with that, I think he'll come into the team in Sunday, AK.
Barry's asking questions at the squad, but what we basically been saying all season, he came out with a couple of buzzwords, character, after we come back at Kilmarnock and back at Dundee and things like that. That proves the character that this team have got and everything. And we kind of papered out the cracks a wee bit with results, brilliant results at Fenerbahce and at Celtic Park. But obviously we come unstuck, didn't we? With the home leg in Fenerbahce. Ibrox got through in penalties certainly, but we get beat at Ibrox again, and then we carry that on into Bilbao, another game where we go 10 men for a long period of the game and we think we've got a good result, 0-0, but then we come unstuck again. And I think he's now beginning to see what Clement's had to deal with all season, Southside. Balogun's one of the few players in the team where you can say, can I rely on you? Can you give me everything you've got out in that park? And I think he is one of the guys that the support will say, aye, he can. Can the rest of them know? And that's been the problem. There's not been enough leaders in the team, not enough, characters in the team. And it's been a problem, not just this season, but going back a few seasons now. And we need to eradicate it. We need to get rid of the guys. We need to start again, but we need to trust what's coming in. The new owners, we need a new manager, a new captain. Just wipe the slate clean and starting again, all over again. It's a heed thing for the support, because we thought we'd seen light at the end of the tunnel with Gerrard winning that 55, but we're back to square one again.
I think it's no great, Bridge, when you're relying on a guy at 38. I think he's nearly 38. 37, 38. I think it's no great, but he can come in and do a job. We've seen it. He does it from time to time. He doesn't have long doesn't play 4 and 5 games in a trot because his body doesn't cope with it. But he certainly can come in games, and I would think most of the support out there would be quite happy if he was coming back into the team on Sunday, because like I say, he's usually quite steady in defence, he's good in the air, maybe not got the pace, but he understands the game, can read a game, and for these sort of games, one-half games, he seems to come in and do pretty well, even though he hasn't played for a few weeks before it, and he will be playing with a surgery after a broken cheekbone.
I still think he's a bit more pace in him than, what do you call him, our left back, Yefty. Yefty's looking as if he's pulling a caravan at times, you know. But I think Balogun had pace, don't get me wrong, had pace, but I don't know how he's going to recover for these things and still be one of our better players. And if, you know, as you get a bit older and the legs start to go, what did you say, he was 38? Is that what you said, Southside?
Aye.
Wow, what an age, yeah. What an age. What a credit to the guy. He can come out there and play better than most of the other players on the team. Incredible. I wish him luck for Sunday. Wish him luck.
Aye. Obviously, I was going to say to you, Bridge, he asked about a response for the players, and he used the choice words, the better, I think it was, he said. No often you hear that come out for the manager, but it just shows you, it's just typical what Barry would say probably. He's talking, if I think, like, he's talking like a fan, because we all said the better be better, you know, so, but I know you thought it was a bit strange you came out with that, didn't you?
I certainly did. I think it's the wrong way to speak, totally the wrong way to speak, particularly the press would pick that up, and there could be stories in it about Rangers and the managers falling out with the players. That's the kind of thing that could happen for that. They've all been threatened by Barry. I don't know what they were threatened with, but no, don't say it. Don't say it. Well, they need to be better than what they are. That's fine. That's okay. But no, they better be. Wow. It was quite strange. So I've never heard a manager say these things. So I have to be very honest.
Aye, Bridge, it's Barry. He's wearing his heart on his sleeve, isn't he? I mean, he's kind of living the dream a wee bit. You know, he's been at the club for he was a young lad, and he wore the captain's armband. He broke his way into a star-studded team. You think of the players that he played alongside in that team, and Advocate, an experienced manager, had enough trust, enough faith in his ability and his character to handle that. But Walter, I think, was instrumental in guiding him through the early years of his career, you know, to put him on the right path. I think Derek had a good influence in him as well. I remember watching a podcast with Derek where Barry was having a wee bit of second doubts about where his future led for Rangers. And Derek was at Falkirk at the time, and he took him down to the Old Brockville, and he showed him the facilities down there, the lackey facilities, I should say, and he said, listen, kid, just get the head down, show a good attitude, you know, that'll come, and just be patient, but realise what you've got. And this is what Barry's trying to get the message through at the players now. You know, that stadium, you're playing out in front of 50,000 fans. They've got hundreds of thousands of fans all around the world. A club with the history and heritage of Rangers, you know, and just try and drum it into them how fortunate they are to actually be at our club and to make the most of it and to, you know, perform better than what they're doing, Bridge.
Yeah, well, of course, that's what we want to happen. I just mean the manner in which he said that wee phrase, well, they better be, you know, words to that effect, you know. That's kind of threatening thing, in my opinion. And it could cause ruptures in any dressing room, in any sport, if someone says you better be, you know.
He could phrase it a bit better.
That's all I'm saying, yeah, no problem.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I mean, this is as if he's throwing some of the players under a bus a wee bit, but to be honest with you, maybe they're needing that. You know, they've been protected with previous managers come on, protect them to his detriment. Bale was the same, Gio was the same. I can remember Gerrard, going the first 2 years in particular saying, I don't know what to do with this squad. The players, that they'll raise their game for the big Europeans, cup finals and things like that, but then come unstuck against your Motherwells, your St Johnstones. So it's not just been this season, it's been an ongoing thing, more so in the last 5-6 years. In fact, 9 years we were promoted back into the Premier League, Bridge.
Yeah, I understand that. Like, Rangers had always had problems, not just this year or last year or even 10 years ago, 15, but always had these kind of problems. And they go invisible. My goodness gracious, the Berwick Rangers result way back tells you how poor our team have played sometimes. And we're talking about really good players in the team, and they just never turned up for whatever reason. And I think the manager's job or the coaching staff's job is to get the players up for the game. And that's what appears to be happening. They are not getting up for the game for some reason. But there's no good shouting at the players from the sidelines when you've told them to play a certain way. If they're not doing that, then it's up to you to drop them or cajole them to do it some other way. But if they're playing in the positions that you've asked them to play in and they're crap at it, then, what can you say? Do something, change it, move people around. I don't know what's in Barry's mind, because I think, is this his 10th game, 11th game or something like that? And I think he's only won one game. No, he's won 4 games, I think. Maybe even 5. Telling the guy a lie. But really and truly, it's not good enough. We know it's not good enough, and I don't know what he's going to do. But yeah, some of the games that he's been in charge of, the players have played absolutely fantastic, and a lot of the support are sitting there in the Copeland Road and saying, "That's brilliant, wee Barry's back. He's got look at them work. Look at them playing there now." That kind of thing, and it's magic. Well, look at us now. Oh dear, that St. game was awful. It was just awful.
Yeah, it was, pal. It was. But I believe Fox has got the second part of Barry's interview, so if you mind putting yourself in mute, Bridge, we'll hear
no problem, bud.
From the gaffer.
Barry, you're talking about there better be a change in the performance because you were really angry last weekend after St Mirren. Your brother Derek said it's almost like disrespectful to a manager if you don't carry out those instructions. Do you feel that way?
Listen, everybody's got different opinions, and it's something that I don't really read into, whether it's my brother, whether it's somebody elsewhere. Everybody's entitled to their opinions. I'll keep my feelings in-house, and I think that's the best way to keep it. The players understand the reasons why I wasn't happy after the game. So, listen, people say whatever they want to say. It's not my place to agree or disagree with them. I kind of let it go over my head. I've got one thing in my mind, and that's concentrating on we try and have a better performance, or we better make sure we have a better performance against Celtic Sunday.
The last time Rangers won 3 league games in a row against Celtic, I think it was actually before you started. It might have been your first season as a full-time pro, 96-97, which kind of indicates how long ago it was.
No, I'm feeling old once you say that there. Yeah, far too long. But look, we know what we're coming up against. Celtic have been strong and consistent. That's one thing about them. We have not been that throughout the season. The last couple of games, yep, we've performed and got results, but it's not really got us anywhere. It needs to be week by week. We need to make sure we put the levels of performance on, and I'm expecting a big performance from us because we know they're coming here. They'll not be happy with what happened in the last 2 games, so we need to be ready and prepared, and we've done all the preparation we can this week. We know what way we're going to approach it, we know what way we're going to set up. So yep, these are the games you've got to be looking forward to, not just as a manager and a coaching staff, but as a playing staff as well.
But it doesn't mean much in the broader scheme, Barry, but I mean it's always going to be a game that you'll get emotional about.
It means a lot to me, and I've said that it needs to mean a lot to everybody inside the building. Yep, It's been a really disappointing season, but it's not a dead rubber. You're coming up against your fiercest rivals who, again, have dominated this season. That hurts. So we need to go up against them and just let them, or give them a reminder that, listen, we're going to be here next season. We need to challenge, certainly in a better manner than which we have done this season.
Do you get the feeling from the squad that it does mean as much to them as it does mean to you?
Well, I've got the feeling this week because we've sat and we've spoke about it, or we've stood out in the training ground and we've spoke about it. So the reaction that I've got in training has been really good, but it matters when you cross that white line. That's when it matters. So the proof will be in the pudding, I guess, come lunchtime on Sunday.
Just last couple, guys.
But see if you need to walk away from this role on May 17th or whatever, now that you've tasted it, how much will you miss it? How big a come down will it be not to be doing this job now that you've done it?
Yeah, of course I'll miss it. There's no doubt if I'm not going to be here. But look, I'm comfortable with the situation. I was comfortable with the situation when I got offered the job. I'm comfortable with the situation come the 17th of May. If I need to go back and do what I was doing, I was enjoying myself. But this has been, how could I put it in simple words? It's been an amazing couple of months for me. A few up and downs, but I kind of knew that when I came into the role. But it's given me a taste for it. And as I've said last week, somebody asked me the question, would I take it? Of course I would take it. If I don't get it, I'm not going to spit the dummy out. I'll still go back to my role within the club and come and support the club and hopefully see the club be successful again.
Barry, I just wonder if you saw last night's penalty in Bilbao that Man United got. Does that add to any of the injustice that you felt for a couple of weeks?
Again, that's in the past, but I mean, when you see that given last night, for me, Cyril's was a worse one than that one. But again, it never went for us that night. Overall, if I'm being brutally honest, over the two games, they were better. But when you see decisions, again in Manchester United getting that decision, it does make you think, but look, that's in the past. I need to try and look forward, and the first hurdle for me is Sunday.
Barry, there's a lot of chat about it this week. Did you and your players even discuss a guard of honour?
Well, I've been asked quite a few times about this. It's never happened in the past. I don't know why there's always a big clamour about a guard of honour. It's never happened, whether it's Celtic, whether it's Rangers, and I think it'll always just remain that way. But if you're asking me, Celtic are champions for a reason, because they've been the most consistent throughout the season. We haven't. But in terms of guard of honour, I don't see it. I mean, I put myself in a position, it wouldn't bother me. I don't think it'll bother Celtic either, if I'm being brutally honest. So it's something that's not been in the conversations throughout the week. I don't think it's even come up in conversation, but I have, when I've been out and about, people have asked me and I give them my honest opinion. It's just never happened in the past, so why should it happen going forward?
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye, a few things to say there, AK. Suppose we can get the one out the road as he just finished on, guard of honour. Your thoughts on that?
Expletive, their guard of dishonour. They can stick that with the sun don't shine, mate. If you had one of them, you've got to have respect for your opposition. They don't respect us, we don't respect them. They've got no respect for their victims. So why should we respect a club like that?
Bridgeman, your thoughts on the guard of honour? It's getting trumped out again as usual.
I think I agree with AK on that one, 100%. I've never seen Rangers doing a guard of honour for that mob anyway. I don't think it's ever happened. and vice versa. They never gave it for us. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a non-event. What you will find, is you'll probably find, and I don't know, you'll probably find that the Celtic management, upwards coaches or whatever it is, and they'll be coming out and saying we're expecting a guard of honour at Ibrox, but we'll see what happens, you know. Or sorry, they might say we're not expecting it, but we'll see what happens, you know. Hint, hint, hint. But I think their manager will have a few words to say on it, and he'll make it pretty bad. It'll be all Rangers' fault.
Well, it's no tradition, so I don't know what the problem is. It's just the usual. Yeah.
I was going to say, do you think they see after the kind of shake hands or whatever they do at the start of the match? Do you know? I think we should just put the sprinklers on their half of the park. Maybe watch again.
That would be funny. Listen, it's in the scheme of the league, it doesn't matter. But when you're playing your rivals, Bridgeman, it's a game that you want to win no matter what. I know Albert will be sitting giving it, doesn't matter, it's a meaningless game, but as in the fact that you want to beat them, then that's what you want to do. So you need to put every bit of effort in Sunday for this squad.
My thoughts on these games are virtually any game at Ibrox we must win. There's no excuse for us not winning Ibrox. No excuse whatsoever. We've got the top quality pitch, top quality stadium, brilliant set of fans, and so on and so forth. And we'll get the best coach we're supposed to have anyway. We had some great coaches, we've got some supposedly great players. Well, if they've got all that and they're highly paid and they can't beat St Mirren's and things like that, then we're in a bad way. But if we can't beat Celtic, which is to me it's the same, I don't care about St Mirren or Celtic, we've got to win at Ibrox. Must win at Ibrox, and that's it. And against them, no matter where it is, when, we should always win it. We should always want to win it. And I always look for them to win it. I always look for Rangers to win it. For me, they should be winning these games all the time. It's got to happen. But of course, we know, sad fact, you go to Ibrox and you watch them and they kind of kick their own bum sometimes. And that mob turn us over, you know. So, what can I say?
Aye, listen, it's a game against them, and listen, they're going to come here, and they're just no matter about the league. They've won the league. They're coming to do a number on us on Sunday. That's a fact. They'll not be happy. Their support will not be happy. They've already lost to us twice in the league this year. They can say what they want, but they'll not be, and they'll not like it if it's 3 and a bounce. AK. So that's what's at stake, and I just think that hopefully we'll see a reaction, because last week's performance was diabolical, and it just so happens that the next fixture's them. If it'd been Dundee United or Aberdeen, I'd be saying the same. We need to step up performance, because last week it was abysmal.
You're right. I mean, I've been listening to the show all week as usual, and I've been listening to a few podcasts, and everybody's just basically telling the truth. They're all scunnered with the type of performances that they're putting in, and quite rightly so. I mean, Barry's more scunnered than anybody because he sees it for the inside, so he knows exactly what Clement's been having to deal with all season. Firefighting kind of in the dressing room, on the park. You've got players ignoring his instructions, you've got formations, changes, players don't have a clue, they don't put the effort and endeavour in, and he's pulling his hair out on the sidelines as we all are watching it, either on TV or in the stands. So they've got a responsibility when they put on that jersey. They're not just representing themselves or their manager, they're representing the thousands come to watch them, and the hundreds of thousands, millions across the world. So they need to get that message into their skulls, you know. So there's always something at stake with an Old Firm game, whether it be pride, you know, or anything. I think was it Raman Bagwash, he said that was it 18 year for the last time that Rangers won 3 the league fixtures in a row. So even if we, you know, win that, then that's something to kind of go and take some sort of solace out of a dismal season.
Aye, Aye, obviously, if we can beat them 3 times, it puts the marker down, because we're going to get investment coming into the club, as we know. It's just a matter of time now, days to weeks. It'll be as it's moving on. We're into May, probably be days. The next number of days we'll find out something, maybe when we're finalised, and then obviously it's going to be a new start. We should have a bit of finance behind us. We've got director of football in, and we've got a new CEO in. So we've got getting the structure behind the backgrounds right. So if this team that's let us doing this year can stick 3 victories by them in the league, then that'll do us on Sunday, Bridgeman.
Yeah. Look, you know me and my 1-0s. I'll take a 1-0 against them or against anybody. I want a win. I want to beat them. And I don't think we've got a team that can pick up from where they left off the last time they played them, because we were excellent against them the last time we played them. And, you know, I think we've done well in the 3 games that we've played them. You know, so we played them in the league at Ibrox, and then we played them in the cup, got beat, and we played them in the league at Parkhead and we won. So I think all 3 of those games I thought we were excellent against them. So I don't expect us to drop that if the players are linked in their brain to what it is. We're playing the Old Firm, massive game, blah, blah, blah. So we're not talking to about total strangers here. We're talking about guys that have actually played in it. And I would expect them to be able to turn up and do the same job they did before. Don't know if it will happen, but I'm ever so hopeful.
Aye, well, the phone lines are open. Obviously, if you'd like to phone in tonight, there's a lot to talk about. We've got the game on Sunday. If you've got thoughts on a new manager, who you'd like to come in, what type of manager you'd like us to go for, in your opinion, and what do you think of the maybe players that we could go and attract and come in? So, as always, it's 0141 356 1972. What was I going to say? AK, when you look at our team selection for Sunday, do you think you'll stick to the back 3? Do you think you'll keep to that, or do you think you might consider doing a back 4?
Nah, I hope no. The back 3, the back 5 just simply doesn't work. We encourage the opposition to come on to us too much. We go back deep. We kind of lose our shape. We lose our momentum going forward. I think he's got to change to a back 4 and maybe go a 5 in midfield, flood the midfield, but look for runners to support our striker up front. That's the way I would go, because Celtic tend to dominate possession-wise, and it's winning the midfield is a key area of the part for me. So that's the way I would go, a kind of 4-5-1.
Brad, you'd be happy sticking to the back 3 since he's come in? It seems to be what he's sticking to. You can just see that being the shape.
Well, I love the 3-5-2. I just love that shape. I think it's wonderful. It also gives you the opportunity to take the guys who are outside on the line of the midfield. They should be able to drop back into to create a 5-3-2 then, you know, because we need to watch. If we're going to be playing, truly going to be playing them, and they've got a bit of form at all, then they use the wide spaces, and they've got flying machines. Their fullbacks pushing forward. That is it. Maida, you call him. He's going to be playing through the middle in all probability. So it's going to be a real good game. But it was more difficult when that Maida was playing on the wing, because you couldn't catch him, truth be told. And I'm afraid Mr. Tavernier didn't cover himself in glory when he was playing against them. And yeah, I think we just saw today that boy Jota. Is it Jota? He's
Jota.
He's out for, is it 6 months, 7 months, 9 months, something like that. So that's good news for everybody else.
Aye, I don't think, listen, their team more or less picks itself. It'll be interesting to see how their goalie copes with it, but I mean, it'll be their normal back 4. I don't think Trusty, they paid £6 million for it. I don't think they'll play him. Probably Scales, I think it'll probably play him beside Carter Vickers. And Taylor probably play left back. And their midfield's been their midfielder it's been. You know, Maidell probably could play wide left if they don't play Forest. It's pretty predictable, so we know what we're going up against. Either could play through the middle, and it could be Maid out wide left and Kuno playing the right. It's only depends if they change it and play James Forrest on a wing and move Maid in one bridge. It's their team more or less picks itself, and we know we can get to them because we've rattled goals by them in the last 3 games. We've scored 3 goals in each game, so we're at home, and as long as we go in the front foot and get about them, then there's no reason why we can't score another 3 on Sunday. You know, we should be good. We should be good enough to create the chances, Bridge.
Yeah, 100%. But I think the way we were playing the last time, and each time we've played them, we've played with a high press. You know, the midfield pushed up, and it made a huge difference because it stopped them being able to, shall we say, pass their way out of defence and threaten us. So there was a good thing we were doing there. So if we can do a high press, it makes our midfield get up the park and into their half and see what they can do. I think it's brilliant if we could do that, you know. But I'm under no illusions. If we continue doing what we've done in other games, where we just give the ball away for absolutely nothing, we lose the ball, fall over it, you know, that kind of nonsense, and we can't pick the ball up again. We never get second ball, and all of a sudden they're going to be running at you 100 mile an hour right through our midfield. If it's actually there, they'll come at us, you know. That's what we've got to watch out for. I know how good they are, that's for sure. I really don't care really about them in that sense. I just want us to play the way with the winning formula we had. We've played them 3 times. We've played them up to now. And the 3 games, we've been the better team. And we're a better team because of the shape. And if we don't get that shape back, we've had it.
Aye, listen, we know if we stand after them, AK, and we let them go on the ball and all that, we know that we're giving them the free rein. Just as a text to say maybe Alston's and Johnston could be injured, so either or. I don't really care about their team. It more or less picks itself, but if you stand after them and you give them the room and stuff like that, then we'll give them an initiative in the game. But I'd like to think that whoever he picks on Sunday, AK, one, they come on the park when they cross the white line with the game head on, and if they do that, which they should do, because it's a game against them, then I'm hoping that we can get in and dominate them again, like we know we can, shut them down in the areas that we know they're likely to keep them at bay, and then we can get on the front foot. And as long as we can keep creating chances, we'll certainly take a few, and it'll be interesting to see how their goalkeeper handles it and all the atmosphere.
Aye, listen, we know they can be got at. They're no indestructible. We've proved it in the past, recent games, even the League Cup final. If it wasn't for a cheating ref and cheating VAR, we should have won that one as well. Incidentally, we've got linesman, Mr. Francis Connor on the linesman there for Sunday Bridge, man. You'll enjoy giving him abuse. Well, and we've got referee Nicholas Walsh as the ref, so Willie Colm is pulling out all the stops to make sure Celtic don't get beaten Sunday.
Well,
so
that's it.
We've got that to deal with, haven't we?
Absolutely, and it'll happen every game, whether it's at Ibrox or whether it's anywhere else. And that's what's happening predictably. It's happening in the Scottish League, or SPL, you want to call it that. It's just wrong. It's just terribly wrong. You know, and we aren't powerful enough at directorship level and at top level, and we don't have enough oomph behind us. Maybe next year, when we've got a bit of oomph behind us, if it works, then we've got a decent set of bulldogs in our board that'll go and talk to these people and get it all sorted out. And you've got to get them to nail it down. Why are you playing SFA? Why are you giving us these referees and these linesmen? Why? We know they're all Celtic fans, blah, blah, blah. That kind of thing. Whether in fact they are or no, I don't know. But we've got to get it right. No good going accusing people, you know. So if we get it right and you go and explain to the SFA and do it with whatever force you can, They might listen to you. Other than that, they'll just run over the top of you.
Aye, it'll be interesting to see what side of the park Mr. Frank Connor will be on. I'll take a guess, and I think he'll be the enclosure side, the main stand and club deck side, I think. But we'll see. We'll see how good his linesman is on Sunday. Because we've seen him before, and he's not very good. And he wasn't any good in the VAR room, hence the fact that he get moved out of there. But aye. Hopefully, as we say, AK, we don't want referees having to get involved on Sunday. We want to win the games fair and square. And that's all you hope for in these games. But I'll say it now, I could see a sending off happening on Sunday. Just got a feeling.
You mean we'll get a man sent off?
I think there'll be a man sent off in the game.
Well, if they get a man sent off, they'll send us to the jail. Send them to the jail. They'll be terrible. Terrible. So it's got to be, if you're talking like that, it's got to be a Rangers man getting sent off. It's got to be. Because I can't see any of their men getting sent off. Nobody those referees.
Player of the Year awards, AK. I know the club kept it quite quiet.
Aye, no wonder. They were hosted, I believe, in the Glasgow Hilton Hotel last week. So well attended with all the dignities as usual. But our Player of the Year and the Players' Player of the Year was Nico Raskin, 24-year-old. Obviously missed the start of the season with a bad injury. Ajax, but it just shows you the impact that he's made in the team this year. So he's one of the very few good performers of the team this year, and I think that's a well-deserved honour for him. And the young Player of the Year was Hamza Igaman as well. Again, we would probably like to have seen Miriam, but what we have seen him, there is maybe a wee shining light there, a wee, diamond in the dirt, as Big Stevie would say, particularly with his couple of goals, particularly against Celtic at Celtic Park there. So well-deserved day to the rest of them. Hang their head in shame for their efforts this year.
Aye, I suppose if you look on you go, Bridge.
Sorry, are you saying that you're quite happy with the Player of the Year? Nico Raskin, is that right? And the Young Player of the Year?
I would, unless you...
No, I'm just asking, because... did you say it was also the Players' Player of the Year?
Players' Player of the Year, the player picked Nico Raskin as their player as well. Okay. But what's your end for it? So would you pick somebody else? Czerney's been okay.
I think Czerney's been excellent for us, to be honest. But I don't know. I really don't know. But I would have went for Czerney, but I don't want to take anything away from Nico Raskin. I think he's a tremendous season for us. I'm very happy with him, and he makes things happen. And when he gets up past their defensive midfield line, he's a real danger. I wish he could shoot, but that's all good. I know he scored a couple of goals, but I'd love him to shoot more than that. However, I've not got any great thing with it. I don't know whether Czerney was even thought of, to be honest. I don't know if there was a draw where he got in position, because he's done wonders for us, wonders. That's what I'm saying.
Aye, I think Czerney has done well. And he's been a good outlet. He's probably one of our most creative players when we get up the park. Fitness a wee bit. Sometimes we've had to take him off in games and give him a rest, which is fair enough, because we've played him in a lot of games, and he was playing a lot of games in the 3 games a week over the 8 days and stuff, where he was having to play a lot of them. I agree, I think Raskin's been good. I think he had a really good spell, but so did Czerney, and I think Bridgeman, I think it was between the two of them that was going to get the Player of the Year for the club, and they went for Raskin. I think Ignaman, in fact, it's his first time exposed to the game at this level, because we were meant to be holding him back. He wasn't quite ready. He came with an injury, so it took a while for him to come in. But this is his first full season as well, and he's contributed really well. Scored 13 goals or something. Super player. And you can see the talent that he's got. So for his first season, I think he's done really well as well, AK.
Yeah, I come on. There's potential there, put it that way. It's a foreign country. You obviously come in, you're barely speaking a word of English, and you've got to try and integrate. I mean, you don't realise the age of these players. You're talking, Iggyman's what, 22, and Raskin's 24, you know, so they're young men trying to make their way in the world of professional football. It's a hard gig at Scotland, and obviously playing for our club when we're in the disarray, shall we say, no winning the trophies we're expected to win. But I go back to what Derek would say to Barry as a youngster, you know, realise what you've got, you know, being at the club that you are, the stature, the platform, the history, the heritage, the culture, everything that's, you know, comes with playing for Rangers. It's up there, and it's what you make it yourself, you know. So it comes from within, the motivation to be better, to strive to be better, and to encourage everybody around about you. It's not been our season this year. That's very evident, but it's been like that for far too long, and in my opinion, I think we need a clear out. There's too many mental baggage in that dressing room. I'm not just saying it. Captain Tavernier carries a lot of mental baggage of failure. His individual stats and everything is there, positive, but is he having a bad influence? The leadership group, Butland, guys of that ilk. We thought Golson was a problem, so we get rid of him. We thought Morelos was a problem, so we get rid of him. You know, and we keep coming back. It's like an ongoing nightmare, that doesn't seem to be ending. But hopefully, the new owners can get a new impetus, a fresh outlook on everything to do with the club, and get us where we want to be, Bridge, because the last, 10, 12 years has been a bit of a nightmare for our support, and it's getting a bit monotonous now for everybody, because we support the club as much as we can. We pay our tickets, our season tickets, our merchandise, our managers. We buy into everything. We just want success. Is that too much to ask? No for us, no for me as a support, but it's going to take money to do that. But we've got to stick with it because it's our club. We'll never give up in our club.
Sorry, Southside. Apologies, Southside. Carry on, please.
No, I'll come to you, Bridge. I was just going to say, I think, Bridge, we're at the ceiling for a lot of the support. As what AK's just said, my jail, season tickets, merchandise. Even when you travel, even when you're travelling to Ibrox, it's costing money, even with the prices you pay inside the stadium for what you're getting, and that's not always great value for what they chuck at you in some of the places inside the stadium. The food could be a lot better when you're going to the food stalls. But it's a lot of money to go and follow your team, where you're going home and away or just going home.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And for people that's working in obviously watching in the Copeland Road, the rear, in Copeland rear, the tail end of the work that they did during the close season for the new seating for the disabled, and a wee bit of extension on inside the building itself. They did a lot of changes there, and they've taken some toilets out and created more space. Well, they've got that to finish, because they've now got these portaloo things outside, and it's just no good enough. They've got a lot of money to spend inside the stadium, but you can't see it from the outside, of course. But that's the kind of stuff that needs to get done as well. But as far as the club picking players of the year, and as far as the club doing, I'll support whatever the club want to do. I've been like this for a real big number of years now, since the 2012. In fact, I've pushed a lot into it. So as far as I'm concerned, that's my club, and I own that club. That's the way I feel. I own that club. But it really guts me when I think of the number of times I've had to change directors here, directors there, and the amount of money that some of these guys took out our club and gave us nothing. So we don't want any of that. but please don't get any of that. Just be able to do it. The club's got to stand on its own 2 feet and get it done. So I hope they get this deal done and get us over the hurdle with that, and let's go and do it. What difficulty we've got is, as we know, we're going into the close season shortly, and we've got a lot of players that needs to leave. Whether in fact, I've asked this question the other night, whether in fact we think this consortium that comes in has got the cash to just let them go and cover it, I don't know. But they need to do something, because you can't have a lot of players sitting there on your books and your shall we say, in your squad, and you can't use them. We can't have that. We've got to be able to, for next season, we've got to be able to get a full squad and get every single person as fit as a fiddle, but long before the season starts. We've got to start with the usual pre-season friendlies and so on and so forth, because these European ties, whenever they may be, they're going to hit us big. And we don't want to be in the same position as we were last season, where you're trying to buy people in, and you sometimes find you can't do it. Oh, well, we need to wait to the end of whatever, September. No, we don't want that. Get it sorted, do what you got to do, and please just go ahead and do it. Carry on, Rand.
No, you're fine, Bridge. The thing about it is the directors did put in their own money. That's the thing that I know, we all know, that they done. When Ross Wilson left, we should probably have filled his position. That was probably failure to get a structure in the club, and we should probably have got a CEO in quicker than what we did, and we probably shouldn't have promoted Bisgrove, and that's mistakes that board made. But every one of them that fought to get the clubs back for the Spivs, Ashley and a lot of them, then I take my hat after them, and then they had to put their own money in to keep the club going. And there was times during COVID, Bridge, when directors had to put their own money in again, and some came forward and others had to go again because others couldn't come forward at the time, and they put their money in. And now we're going to get a fresh broom coming in, because now they're going to sell their shares. But that's my only disappointment, and it'll be a disappointment for every one of them as well, because every one of them is a blue nose that came with King at the start and managed to get the club back, Dougie Park, to Bennett, to a lot of them, you know. So they'll probably be disappointed that they made a lot of mistakes during the time of trying to get us back after we won the league. But we were cash strapped as well through COVID and stuff, and directors had to come in again and put their own personal money in. So I applaud them for that. I just wish that it brought us more success at the time, AK, and it could have been more lauded than going out thinking, well, thanks for that, but you never really done anything. But it's their own money, and it's different when you're putting your own money into the club. You're not always going to get back what you put in.
No, 100%. And football clubs is like that in general. You know, that no matter how much money you actually put in, it's never enough with the support. I mean, the support collectively, we put a fair amount of money in. As I've said, roughly you're talking about 20 million in season tickets, and then probably another 10 to 15 million in merchandise and whatever Managerial brings in and everything else that goes with it. You know, so supporters are putting the money in, but so are the directors. And you're right in what you said there. I mean, I listened to Mark Dingwall on Jers TV the other night, and he was quite scathing his opinion about some of the Rangers support that he sees on his own forum, follow, sees and hears other podcasts where Rangers supporters are coming on and absolutely scathing about the directors of the club and the lack of money, or what they see as a lack of money and investment, what they're putting in. But they guys are putting in tens of millions, not just the odd couple of thousand here and there, and either getting it back in shares and loans and stuff like that. But that is a law. That's company law, that they've got to follow that. Simon Jordan stated that on TalkSport not that long ago as well. So whatever they put in, but it's still less, a lot less than what a bank would be charging. You know, so they guys have basically been our bank overdraft, and we've had to utilise it. But we've spoken about before, Bridgeman. We put it in the wrong areas of the club. I think Bisgrove was the guy that instigated the Blue Sky lounges, and obviously they were keen in Dane Edmondson House, the parts financed a lot of that and everybody else, you know. But we've neglected the product on the park, and that's where the support want to see the most improvement. So we've got to restructure, we've got to come out with a blueprint, and we've got to try and get success on the park to appease the support.
100%.
Well, if you two guys would like to go on mute, we've had a bit of debate on YouTube about what the tune will be tonight. So we'll see who's right, but I don't think any of have got it correct. It's time for the tune, so if you two guys would like to go on mute, it's time to go.
I hear the Tigs are cheating. I hear they run the GCC. I hear the titles are tainted. And I hear they pay the SFA. Because we're bits and true, and we're Rangers through and through. We all knew Big Jock knew. I hear they try to hide the story. I hear to this day they still deny. I hear it's swept beneath the carpet. We all know the Tigs were born a lie. Because we're bits and true, and we're Rangers through and through. We all knew Big Jock knew. Tell your story, then maybe you'll sleep at night. Why don't they pay the victims money? But then I don't suppose that's right. Because we're bits and true, and we're Rangers through and through. We all knew Big Jock knew. Because we're bits and true, and we're Rangers through and through. We all knew Big Jock knew.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye, hey, wee tune. Okay, if we're going to mention something on this day, what year are you going to pick?
I've got a couple of games here, Southside, and for the listeners out there, might jog some memories. Cracking games here, by the way. Just Rangers archives are brilliant at this and bringing up on this day. So the 2nd of May, 1987, Aberdeen won, Rangers won. The day we won the league. First time, I believe, in 9 years, I think, for our last league. Just watching the footage, I believe you were there, Southside. Rangers took over Pittodrie that day. Give us your memories, and if you can, give us a team. Because I've got a team here, I'll maybe give you a wee prompt. Bridgeman, you can jump in and all.
Memories of that day? Oh, I was bedlam going up on the bus that day, I remember. Because it was longer to get to Aberdeen slightly than it is now. And you think they might have done the new roads and stuff. Aye, Terry Butcher, Header, Davy Cooper. And it was bedlam. We had the end behind the goal, both ends. There was bears everywhere travelling up. Everywhere you be stopped on the way up a couple of times. And the way up to Pittodrie that day, and it was just full of bears stopped and heading up to Pittodrie. There was a lot of people locked outside that day as well. and obviously, I can't remember the referee's name now. Was it Duncan? I think the referee was Duncan. Something Duncan.
No, that's a bonus ball, aye, well done. Can you remember Souness getting sent off?
Aye, I was just going to say he was the guy that sent Souness off. I can't remember his first name, but it was Duncan, wasn't it, the referee?
Aye,
but
right, I can't remember.
It was Bedlam on the way up and that, and obviously a great journey home, and I'm sure they opened the gates about 10 minutes early because there was a lot of bears outside AK.
Yeah, actually watching a wee bit of the footage there earlier, Archie McPherson gave you something, and you're probably aware of it as well. In the previous 13 years, Rangers had only won twice up there. You know, obviously the Alec Ferguson era and that, so it was a tough place for us to go to get a result, and obviously we needed a draw. Was it Falkirk or something that held Celtic that day, and that meant that we won the league? So as you say, Davy Cooper flighted free kick, Big Butcher came and met it, and how did they celebrate? Wow. But some day. Can you remember the team at all?
Come back to me, I'll see you in a minute, I think. I'll try to remember it.
Davy Cooper and
aye, that's one.
Davy Cooper and Big Butcher.
What was your recollections that day, Bridge?
They're just amazing. It's just amazing. I didn't get up to Aberdeen, certainly not that game anyway. But these games are heaven. They're just heaven. You know, you see some film of it afterwards. It's just great. You know, listen to it on the radio if you can. At that time, the radio and the TV weren't as bad against us as they are now. But gee whiz, you know, some of these games are just wonderful, wonderful occasions. And the mere fact that we didn't get beat that day was absolutely fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. That's the way I remember it all, you know. And that goal that Cooper chips it in, and it's smashed in with a Big Butcher. Wonderful to watch. Wonderful. Great feelings. Great feelings.
Yeah, Bridget, that's when you listen to the game on the tranny.
That's
the days when a tranny was the radio.
Yeah, exactly. I got that one. It took me a while there.
But I'll help you out with the team here then, guys. I'll name it out for you. I know Southside will be beating himself up over this one, but with Chris Woods in goals, Graham Roberts, Stuart Monroe, Graham Souness, Dave McPherson, Terry Butcher, Jimmy Nicholl, Robert Fleck, Ali McCoist, Ian Durant and Davy Cooper. And on the bench that day, Jimmy Phillips and Colin West, Southside.
I remember Colin West and Jimmy Phillips, but I honestly wouldn't have thought they two were on the bench that day, to be honest. It was a long time ago now.
Was Colin West not the first of Souness's signings?
Aye.
Correct. You remember the club we bought him for?
Is it Colin West? Was it? Oh, he wasn't doing a London thing.
Sheffield Wednesday, I think.
Sheffield Wednesday. I was going to say Sheffield Wednesday.
He bought one for Spurs or one of the London clubs. Who the hell was that then?
Well, Graham Roberts. Graham Roberts.
No, it wasn't Graham Roberts. We know it. We know it.
Bridgeman Mark Falco.
Mark Falco. There you go. Yeah.
Aye. Going back. So anyway, that was one of the games on this day. The other one was another famous victory where we won the league that day as well. And this one will really, cement in the memory sticks. 2nd of May 1999, Celtic 0, Rangers 3. Neil McCann with a double. Albert scores a penalty. And Hugh Dallas get malkied with a 50-pence coin.
Aye. That was an enormous game, an absolutely enormous game for us, really and truly. I was live on the TV, that one. That was just fabulous. Just everything about it. I thought the Hammer was just what an enormous game he had, and I have to take my hat off to Mr. McCann. But he did a great game as well. So Rangers did really, really well and played brilliantly, and 3 goals, well worth it. Well worth it.
Aye, that was a late kick-off, wasn't it? I'm sure that was a late kick-off that night.
Aye.
I'm sure it was.
Aye. It was an
I
evening
remember.
game.
Aye, I'm sure it was.
What was your recollection that day? Can you remember? Were you sober?
Aye. No, but a day with 3 stretch limos going up to that dump that day.
You did that,
So,
didn't you?
Aye, we did. Aye, with 3 stretch limos going up to that dump that day. Everybody carted into them. And up to there, it was brilliant. As soon as the first goal went in, that was bedlam in the game. Sure, they get 2 sent-off that day, did they? 1, 2, can't remember.
Aye, it was got to come to that.
It was a while ago, but Stephen Mahy gets sent off.
Aye, he lost the plot.
Recourse, wasn't
it? Recess,
that's him. Sorry, I got mixed up there.
Rod Wallace gets sent off as well.
He did as well. By the way, and it was he thought he actually attacked. Who was it? Bardham. Somebody came right over the ball at him. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I mean, but can you remember the team that day, Southside?
Hold on. Kloss will be in goals.
Yes.
Kloss, Neil McCann played, Alberts played, Rod Wallace played.
That's what I was going to say.
Van Bronckhorst.
Correct.
Van Bronckhorst. Midfield, Alberts, Van Bronckhorst, Neil McCann was out wide. Claudio Arena still there, aye, wasn't he?
Yes, right, that's one good. That's a good one.
Who am I missing too?
Well, you're missing your defence.
I'm a Kloss. Big Braveheart, wasn't it? Braveheart.
Aye.
Colin Henry, Lorenzo Amoruso then.
Amoruso, yep. 2 to get, the 2 fullbacks.
Newman, was Newman no there?
No.
That was before his time.
All right. Okay.
2 fullbacks. Sergio Perini.
You did say Drainer, yeah.
Perini. And it was the man he scored against Palma.
Correct.
Ibrox.
Tony Vidmar.
Vidmar.
Tony
That was not
Vidmar.
bad. What the hell,
And the one you're missing, the Argentinian up front.
Oh, bow and arrow
Amato.
man against Tranmere, Gabi Amato.
Correct, Armando. And our subs that day.
Oh, come on, no, I've no chance.
Jonathan Johansson, there was only 2. Jonathan Johansson and Derek McInnes.
Well, there you go. There's a blast for the past.
McInnes used to get played in certain games, didn't he?
Yeah,
he brought him back in, didn't he? And used them. Europe and that, McInnes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought McInnes wasn't a bad player for us, but near the end, I don't know what happened to him. But obviously, we brought in all these good players, so McInnes would probably fall down the pecking order. Maybe that's why they like Rangers, you know.
Southside, I've even noted the Celtic team here, give you a wee laugh, but they weren't a bad team actually when you see them on paper. Well, certainly up front they were, but they had Stuart Kerr in goals, then they had Anoni, Marshall, Stubbs, Reseth, Mahy, Lambert, Vikos, Larson, Viduka and Bratback. But 3-0, what a day. That's when they were throwing themselves off the top deck, wasn't it?
Aye. Smacked Dallas with a coin or something. It was. I remember that well up there that day actually. Was that their team? You looked at it. Well, I was trying to work out our midfield that day. Do you know what I mean? And you looked at the team, the players we sort of had at that time. No, Sergio Perini, I think you said it right back, wasn't it? And Vidmar at left back. 2 of them could go forward, but Sergio was mostly defending, wasn't he? He sort of was a right back. He didn't go forward that much back then, you know. We had wide players and we used them through the midfielders. We had, you know, I'll talk about Neil McCann, Claudio Arena, Alberts, Van Bronckhorst. It's a bit of a midfield, isn't it?
Aye, definitely. What was I going to say? How brave was Hugh Dallas after getting pelted with the coin and gave the penalty right away? They still don't forgive him for that, Bridge.
Yeah, look, that club should have been shut down for the riotings. It was like 3 people won't run onto the pitch, for God's sake. Now, it's modern day today. Maybe they would because of who they are. But no team would be allowed to, no club would be able to continue if with 3 times they had to get people to come on and take people off the pitch. Sorry, it's rubbish. Just rubbish. The referee get that tacked. And by the way, there was hundreds of coins coming at him and hundreds of coins coming at other players as well. That was just shocking, that display. Shocking. And I don't know what they're going to do about it, what they would ever have done about it. But they certainly didn't seem to do anything about it then. I don't know if they would do anything about it now. I don't know what you think of that. But I was shocking, just shocking. However, I'll take nothing away from your team. We won the game. We won the game. Not because we threw more coins onto the pitch, not because we injured the manager, you know.
They never done anything back in the day when Mark Walters made his debut up there. And he turned up in monkey suits.
Yeah.
And flung the bananas at him and the apples and the oranges and all that, you know. The same as Hearts did as well at Tynecastle.
But I mean, there's no need for all that crap. No need for
they
it.
They were the first mob when Mark Walters played against them. That's what they done, you know. So it was happening back then in the 80s, Bridge, you know. Nothing was getting done about it.
Absolutely, bud. Absolutely. And sadly, in some instances, it's just the same. Nothing gets done about it.
Aye, I think it's going to be time actually for the Super 6. So I think, no, Saturday the Mora Bridge. Thing is, try to pick teams that it means something to in the sort of leagues that they're in, because it's quite hard because it's end of season now. So in these games will probably be even harder because there'll be some of them have got a bit of merit at stake in that. Some are they're on the sort of top 6 and that, or fighting to get in and out. So we'll see what happens, but it's time to hear the Super 6. Hi, welcome to Southside Super 6 for May the 3rd. First selection this weekend is Bristol City to beat Preston. The second selection is Salford to beat Carlisle away from home. The third selection is Hibs to beat Dundee United. The fourth selection is Dundee to beat Motherwell. The fifth selection is Reading to beat Barnsley. And the sixth selection is Leyton Orient to beat Huddersfield Town away from home. There is a 12:30 kick-off, which is Bristol City at home to Preston in the Championship. And if you take all 6, it pays 31.5 to win.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
How could you know, AK?
Yes, sponsored by Bet365, William Hill, Ladbrokes, Paddy Power. On you go, Southside. On you go. This is the week. This is the week.
Yeah, it's got to be, isn't it?
It is.
The whole world's waiting on you getting up, boy. The whole world's waiting.
I've done a wee line of writing on that Championship because there was a few games, and I had both teams to score and Rafe to win, and I had both teams to score Falkirk to win, and I'm got Greenock Morton. Both teams to score, Morton to win. They're 5-1 and on, it's 2-0. So I need to hope that Dunfermline, whoever does it, scores a goal. That's a tidy wee line. I think we're being joined by a caller. Good evening.
Thanks for taking my call. See you later.
Hey, AK, what were we talking about there? All right, David.
Aye, it's great to hear you. Aye, no, I was just mentioning, you've already covered it actually, about when I seen it last night, that penalty decision, I just shook my head and said, you know, where's Where's justice? You know, that was criminal. Absolutely. I know what you've covered it, but I mean, it should be, whoever that referee was, he shouldn't be getting any kind of European games again. That was shocking.
I think, as David, I think they probably looked at the last one and they hammered them for it in the VAR team, and this just so happens that it happens again and it's the same player. Business, I thought Dessler's was worse than what he gave last night. But I think that was the reason. I think they thought if anything like that happens again, or anything similar to that, we're getting a penalty. And that looks like that's what they did last night.
Yeah. Definitely. It just shows you how your circumstances can change drastically within them playing us and then playing them, and how you can get such a big void in the decisions, which I suppose there's not much you can do about that. It's just where it is with referees all over Europe, isn't it?
Well, you could go with the fact that, listen, they've got the home game, the final at their stadium, but I think there's only 4 teams ever won it at their stadium in all the time since the last 20 odd years or something, that teams have held it at their own ground. So, but I think Man United's a bigger team, AK, than Atletico. And you might look at it as the big team getting the decision out of them.
There is a bit of that. Certainly Man United have got more European history than that Bilbao have, with their Champions League record and the players that they've brought through. But they've been struggling this year in the English Premier League. It's been a funny all season for them. Obviously changing managers, but they've certainly put a lot of money into their squad, and they've not a great return out it. Certainly the Premiership for them, but in European terms, Man United have got individuals in their team, and I watched the game last night as well, Davey. I thought Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes were outstanding in their midfield, but in numerical advantage that Man United had, they certainly took advantage of it. And if we'd have got that sort of decision as well, Davey, who knows? Because they're down to 10 men, we get a penalty. You know, we could have, we might not have deserved it, but at that moment in the game, by the law, they're making that example, the decision, the referee was brave enough to say, no, that was a goal-scoring opportunity. He didn't make an attempt to play the ball. Not only is that a penalty, it's a red card. And that's what should have been implemented with the Bosnian referee that we had a couple of weeks ago. But it's water under the bridge now, pal, I'm afraid. Anyway, good to hear from you, pal.
You're spot on. But, I mean, see if you go back and look at our season. Our season's been riddled with kind of things like that. Even through different games in the cup final, the penalty we didn't get, a lot of other things. I just don't know. You're starting to see, have we got a jinx here? Because we've never had getting any wee break of the rubber. I was going to say the rubber of green, but better not say that. Are we getting hung up on
yellow card?
Well, that's a red card. I'll take it myself. but realistically, if you look back, it's not a negative. You're not looking at it as a negativity. You look at back as you couldn't buy our luck when it became with injuries, and it just kept on going and kept on going. And hopefully, I just want to ask you, so now we're getting to the point now with this consortium taking over Rangers, hopefully. Now, I know we think in the long term that should be positive, but do you feel we're just getting carried away with it a wee bit till we get more of what's going to come out of it, or do we just jump in and say, oh, happy days?
I'll let AK and then Bridge answer that.
Personally, Davey, I'm looking at it with a wee bit of trepidation. I'm not letting myself get carried away too much, obviously. I'm glad we've got the change because we certainly needed a breath of fresh air throughout the whole club, the structure, getting guys in position to take us forward, because we were getting, stagnating in the boardroom, and there were too many people leaving, and we were putting the wrong people in important positions. We were making wrong decisions. We were getting recruitment wrong. We were wasting a lot of money. We were getting our managers wrong, and it's just been an ongoing kind of nightmare. I'm just hoping that this new consortium comes in there and organises us better as a club, because we see the difference they've made to the Leeds United already, and that's them back in the promised land. The promised land for us has been crowned kings of Scotland again and winning trophies, and that's where we want to be. So I'm hopeful, Davy, but apprehensive.
I'll come to Bridge, Davy, and ask him the same. But see, when you're not talking, can you go into mute, because you can hear feedback for you, Davy, if you don't mind.
Okay.
If you hit the mute button, all right. Bridge?
No, my window cleaner anyway. Didn't turn up, did he?
Bridge, your thoughts on the takeover?
Well, it's hopeful for me. I'm living in hope, and much like Alex as AK said there, everybody is really keen to get past to the end of the season and get the thing done. Now, you might find that it gets signed before the end of the season, and it was all clarified. I would doubt it myself. I'd doubt it, but I think we've only got 3 games to go. So 3 or 4 games to go in the season. So I think once the last game's over and done with, we'll probably hear something, to be honest, because I think most of the Bears, if not all of them, are just desperate for Rangers to get something, get it done, get a clearance of some description, whether it be at board or managerial or whatever we're going to do. We need to see it getting done, because it's really weird. We want to get top season tickets. We want to be the best season ticket club in the country. We want to be that, and have a big crowd of people wanting to get a ticket at Ibrox, and that may help them to give us a wee, shall we say, in there and expand the club, the stadium. Whatever they want to do, I'm happy to go and do it, but they must get players in the park. No matter what happens, we need to get players in the park, and maybe a bit better quality than we've got, and that would be wonderful. Wonderful for me anyway, guys. That's what I would like.
What do you think of that, Davy?
Well, the way I'm looking at it is, I'll ask you this. I mean, do you think this is going to be a last chance saloon? They have to get, this has got to happen, isn't it, really? Because we've tried everything else.
I think obviously we've wasted a bit of time, if we know. We've let things slip by, as they said, taking the eye off the ball, not the wheel, steering the ship. And I said earlier, that disappoints me, because all the guys that genuinely were on the board were all blue noses, all supported the club and all put their own money in, Davy. It's all right to stand and criticise people and say they've never done this, they're not doing that. This is your own personal money. And there's no a lot of people would put in as much as they've probably put in the past. But we've done things wrong. We're not getting CEOs in and not putting a director of football in, probably getting the structure right behind. But I think marketing globally, the size of the club is, I think the 49ers group with Kavanagh and the rest of them, I think, can probably put it on to a new level for that aspect, bringing in fresh sponsorship and stuff, Davy, which we need, which will put the turnover up, which allows us to spend more money. But once they get sole control of the club, they'll do what they see fit, and they'll have the total control to do it, and they'll not be Rangers men that's controlling your club. Yeah. We're giving that away when we give away the 51%, when you get the 51%. But so we need an investment into the club, and this is the way we're going about it. And I think you'll probably judge them over a 3 to 5 year period going forward. But for me, I want them to put a challenge up next season. We need to get a squad and a manager in that was going to be good tactics and set out a structure, and they'll need to hit the ground running. There'll be a couple of bumps and thing in the road as there will be, as we know, but we're not hoping it'll be many. But it will likely happen. But we have to get trophies back next season in Scotland, Davy.
You're spot on, Cecil. What I was going to say is there's been a lot of speculation about who the manager would be, who the youth guys get. I would like to think that's on well down the line, that they've got somebody in mind. I don't know if that's going to happen, but what do you think of that?
Well, I'll go to AK and then I'll go to Bridge. I've told him, Davy, Klopp will be on his way shortly enough, nothing to worry about, but I'll go to AK.
Clippity clop. That wouldn't be bad. Davey, I don't know if you heard the show last week, but I put Frank Lampard's name in the hat in the ring for me. The last interview process, John Bennett and James Bisgrove brought Graham Souness into the equation to get his thoughts on it, and his thoughts was Frank Lampard. But obviously they two thought Phil Clement was the man, so he went with it. Why bring a guy as soon as his stature into that process and ignore him though? Lampard has went into Coventry there, and I think they were like third bottom, and certainly in the bottom six. They're now in a playoff position to go up. I don't think he'll get them up. I don't think the squad's big enough, but that just underlines the job that guy has done. He knows his stuff. He's been to Derby, got them to playoffs. He took them Chelsea when the transfer embargo on them, brought through the likes of Mason Mount in their team, and I think he's got a pedigree similar to Steven Gerrard, except he's not got any baggage that Gerrard would have with the likes of Michael Beale. So for me, Frank Lampard.
There you go, Bridgeman. Your thoughts on who you'd like to see?
I have to say, I would love Steven Gerrard to come back to Rangers and decide to stay. That's what I would love. I'd love him to come back, be able to come back and bring everything they can give it for Rangers. I think he was a great character. The press loved him, the fans loved him, but he needs to be able to build a team. It's going to win things. I'm hearing things in my ear. But it needs to happen. We need to have someone. And for me, I would go for Gerrard. I'm easy to read. Let's put it that way. I love the pizzazz when he was there. I just loved it. I liked the way he handled the press, particularly the press, but the shall we say the opposition. Great gentleman of the sport as well. As a manager, I thought he's tremendous, and that's what we need.
Don't know what you think of that, Davey. I think he brought professionalism and all that when he came. He's a winner, set standards, but I still think he lacks in managerial. He's like the presence that walks in the dressing room. He needs somebody to help him tactically. If he maybe gets somebody tactically in that can help him and bring Culshaw and Wilson back, because I think we're fit as anything when they were here. Tactics were good, set pieces. They scored a few goals for set pieces. But I just think we need better than sentimental reasons for Steven Gerrard because he got us a title. Stopped to 10, obviously. But I just think there's that. And I do want a British manager, I think, Davey. I keep thinking if you get in the foreign route again. All my lifetime of watching Rangers, it's been British managers that have brought us success in my time of watching Rangers. So foreign managers, I just think, I don't know. I'm not feeling it, you know.
Is Klopp a German Brit then?
He's the exception. He's the only exception. Nobody saying that when he turns up at the door. I've told you, I keep telling you. Davey.
It's the thing is, it's giving the Rangers support a wee smile back in their face, because it's not been there for a long time. And the anticipation is just waiting to see how it pans out. And if it goes the way we all expect it to go, it should be heading in the right direction this time. because we can't afford this to go sideways. And I think all that will be taken into consideration. Done their homework. This didn't work, this didn't work, this doesn't work. Right, we'll do this and do that. And like you said, this guy's in a position, this other guy's in a position. So all the bits were wrong, I think, have been replaced by the right people. But I'll wait and see. We're not just going to come out and start smashing everybody in sight, because I think we're talking about great. Some of your players are great players. I don't see any great players in that team at all. You see some of them try their best they can, but to me, there's no great players.
No, we need better players than what we've got. I keep saying that, Davey. But there'll be a few of the players will be part of a squad. Might even have to start when the new manager comes in. When he sets out a style and a system, things might be different. Players might react different. They might play better. There might be who we don't think might be a starter comes into the team and plays regular under the new manager. But it will take a bit to settle, David. But we still have to go for the off. We've got to hit the ground running. And we need to bring in probably, I think, 8 players, AK, straight away. We need more than that, but 8 that is going to actually start in that team, along with it, you know.
I'd agree with you, mate. It's we've not got time for projects or that anymore. We've said this every year, though, haven't we? We really need to get first team ready, players govern ready, as Ock says. But David, be under no illusions. Nobody on this panel has ever said that we've got great players in our team, because we know we haven't. We've got a couple of decent players there with Raskin and Igaman that showed flashes, but no consistency, no level of consistency. For me, I think they'll be looking at all the high earners first. We're going to have Matondo returning. If we can get him out, that's a hefty wage that we can get rid of. Hadji, I don't think he'll be getting a new contract. I think they could be looking to offload Tavernier. I think they'll be offload Butland as well. Lawrence, Dowell, Davies, guys of that ilk. Even Danilo, if we can get him off the books, because all these guys, you know, you're talking a good part of 20 odd million in wages there, you know, and we're not getting a good return off them. So it's the old adage that the question, it's how do you get rid of these guys? Because if other clubs are not willing to pay them what we're paying them, then they're not going anywhere. They're going to dig their heels, and that's been a real problem for the club, because Ross Wilson was giving them look at their contracts and the players weren't going anywhere. Their injury records weren't great. Ox has been big on that. We all bear about their attendance record. It's just been a nightmare for recruitment, and most of that finger pointing goes back for when Mark Allen get told he was no longer needed, replaced by Ross Wilson. Then Michael Beale comes in, you know, McGee him a load of money, and now we've got Niels Coppin there kind of pulling the strings. We need somebody with knowledge of the British market, and there, when you go foreign, you get foreign rubbish, and we need to start getting better quality players on our team that can start.
We'll talk about a team that might start on Sunday. I would think, as we all agree, it'll be a back 5. You said earlier, Davey, that Balogun had trained and he's got a mask, he's had his surgery, so I would imagine by how 1 or 2 of them performed last week that Balogun's going to start. And I think you can guarantee FTL starts and Ridvan's out for the season. I think you'll play Tav on the right, at right back. And I think Suter, Balogun, and I think he'll go with. I think he'll go with Proper. I don't think he'll play the young boy. I don't think he'll play NCL. I don't think he'll start him. What do you think, AK?
The team I had was a back 4. I had Tavernier, Suter, Balogun, and Yefty. And I was throwing Butland in goals just to put him out in the just out there, so as he's on the TV, so somebody can come in and say, "Aye, he's not a bad keeper." Kelly made a mistake at St Mirren last week, but Butland's been making mistakes all year. I don't know. Who does Barry trust? Does he trust Butland? Was his punishment enough for missing the Bilbao games and then bring him in for this one? I don't know. I'm guessing, mate. But I believe you've been joined with a caller.
Yes, I think we've been joined by Bob Ger. How you doing, Bob Ger?
How you get on, lads? All right?
Aye, good.
Okay.
Good.
Well, I've been listening to the show on and off all week, and on a personal note, I can't ever remember when I've been so downbeat about the whole thing. I think a lot of us are feeling the same way. We want the season over, done with, finished, out the road, and on to what we think could be a new beginning. After that last Saturday, my chin went lower in my chest, guys. But that's pessimism for you. Optimism, we're playing them on Sunday. We know what to do. Get the sleeves rolled up and get in about them. That's about the size of it. No matter what team we play, just let's get right in about them and beat them. We've done it before, we can do it again. You know, the lad said through the week that we're getting refereed with double standards. Well, I saw that in Bilbao last night. Different game. Fair enough. Exactly the same thing. But, hey-ho, history. Tournament's over. On we go.
Well, that's it, Bob Ger. We didn't get it that night.
Aye, we didn't get it on the night. Aye.
It happens, but...
I mean, Marvin Bartley, you know, I mean, what can you say about him?
Well, looks like we've got a new addition next season into the Premier League in Falkirk, who by all accounts play good football and seem to have built a sort of squad and built a young team. And the only problem is they've got a plastic pitch, but it looks like they're coming into the Premier League.
Water for me, yeah. And just saw the river for me at Falkirk, and they've got a healthy support as well, so it could be they'll be a good addition to the league. And what's the script with this Livingston lot? Is it a playoff for them?
I believe so.
But the thing is, they're another plastic pitch. I think they've got till next year for to sort this out, these plastic pitches. But that's another topic. At the moment, I don't to worry about the state of Rangers. It's going to be a hell of a summer for us, like. And we can't have another season like this, guys.
Well, I think you've got to. I think you've got to think positive, Bridgeman. You know, they're coming in. They're no daft. They're a multinational organisation, Bridgeman, and I think they'll have a lot of things in place. We've got a new director of football in. We've got a CEO in. So we've got that starting. We've got a new chairman in. And we're getting we'll have maybe bring the boy for Everton Bridge to run the academy. And then it's basically down to name the manager and then start getting the players signed. And we know there'll be plenty going out the door, the ones that are out of contract. But I think it was something to look forward to when the time comes.
Aye, as I said, that was I introduced myself now with the pessimistic side here. There's a huge optimistic side here. These people aren't here to fail. No way. As they said in the press, these are hard-nosed businessmen that know what to do for to get a business office, you know what, and get it going and get it working again. And we certainly hope they can do that with Rangers. They did it at Leeds United, so I'm sure and certain they can do it at Rangers. And just this particular time, we'll just have to wait, get the season out of the way, then start again next year. Well, we can't afford another season like that.
I think as Southside said, they've got the new, shall we say, top tier. Some of them are in now, you know, director of football. So that's the starting point. Obviously, next thing from a managerial perspective, they've got to pick a manager. Now, nobody can say what they're going to do. Chances are that they're going to get a new person in, but they might not. They might just keep wee Barry there and be done with it. I don't know. Nobody knows. But personally speaking, I think all the Bears are expecting a new manager. So take your pick. I think there's a few people want Klopp to come in and so on and so forth. I'll personally speaking, I'll have Stephen Gerrard in a minute, in a heartbeat for me, and I think he could nurse us through and take us on, because I think that he's got a Celtic manager's number. That's what I think, and I know that when we beat them under Gerrard, when we beat them, he left Celtic and went down to Leicester or wherever he went. He got out of there as quickly as he could. It was like the tutor, the pupil teaching the tutor, you know. That's what it was like. So I think he's got his number. Personally speaking, I think he's got his number. I would bring. I love Gerrard. I still love bring him in. And for me, every day of the week.
I would think Davey, and then I'll come to AK. The Moroccan coach that we brought in, who coached under 23s and was successful. When we brought him in, gave him a 3.5-year deal, and then just within a few weeks, Clement goes out the door. So obviously, I'll take it the new owners to be would have probably sanctioned that appointment. So obviously, he'll maybe have a role to play in the club over the next few years.
Yeah, you're right, Susie. It's like I've said for continuous times, I've said that what's missing is the jigsaw puzzle, is all the bits, and we've not been able to fill them up. We thought we were getting them filled up, and all the ones that we thought were going to put the jigsaw just faded into oblivion. And so we can't afford that again this time. I know that Bridges talking about with Barry Ferguson. I don't know, that's not going to happen. I know that for a fact. That will not happen. He's done his best, but we're going to another level to get to where we need to be. And Barry Ferguson's not the answer to that. And we need to get experience. But as I've said and I've repeated myself, this is going to be done properly this time. This is going to be. And I think that's when you're talking about all these top men coming in, that'll be discussed. And then we wait with trepidation to see how it's exciting times and see how it transpires.
Aye, well, we waited for a manager many years ago before, and Alec McLeish walked in the door, and I think a few people were like, McLeish, really? And he got us a double and a treble. AK.
Aye, listen, Big McLeish had a pedigree. You know, Hibs, I think he'd already been to, I think he'd been to Motherwell as well. Obviously, he was an outstanding player for Aberdeen and obviously Scotland with Willie Miller. So he had a pedigree. I was totally unaware, got to be honest, that it was a blue nose and brought up in Govan. But when I heard that and the way you hear him now speak about the club, he's certainly got an affection for the club. So that the guys don't grow in trees, unfortunately. Southside, you know, Walter. Even when he got appointed, there were doubts in the Rangers support there too. But Walter had a pedigree there too. You know, he came up through Scotland youth, being understudy with Andy Roxburgh. Our relative bit of success there. I think the under 18s or under 16s or something, Scotland actually won a tournament, and then he carries on into having a role in the coaching staff when Jock Stein was manager. Then I think Alec Ferguson took him to Mexico as well. So soon as seen something in Walter, he was building that sort of reputation in the game. But if you're asking me if Derek McInnes is going to be that guy, I don't think so. Rang club, rang mentality. I mean, McLeish, he had something as a winner, as a player. The guys don't grow in trees now, but it's hard to. I think there have been lost opportunities there over the years when they have had a wee bit of turmoil. You know, I mean, even them appointing Brendan Rodgers, they didn't. A lot of their support was unsure about him. They didn't want him. But who was your manager? Michael Beale at the time. So we didn't have a chance to put pressure on there. When Postecoglou came in, Gio let slip a numerical point advantage. We didn't put pressure on him. There's been opportunities there. Even Gerrard winning at Celtic Park, we went top of the league. We seem to implode and we seem to keep shooting ourselves in the foot. So, aye, they've been dominant, but do we have the winners in our team? That's what I'm concerned about. I think we need winners in the team, because you break down individually who our team has actually won something, won a trophy, won a league, and that's what Souness and Walter was great at. just, filling the guys in there like a Ray Wilkins, a Graham Roberts, Mark Gately's and that. It's the character and everything that comes with. It's not just the ability to go out and play fit, but you need that character and the inner belief and fight and everything about it that comes with wearing that Rangers jersey.
Can I come in on that, Alex? Can I just say something?
On you go, Davey.
Just to mention what you're talking about there about Alec McLeish. I get where you're coming from there, but when Alec McLeish came in, Rangers had good players. This next guy is not walking into that. I know it's difficult to get the ones that are in suicide saying maybe they'll come good. I don't see that. They are what they are. They're just bang average. And until we get that defence sorted out, that guy, whoever's coming in, is going to get that sorted out. Because we have got to strengthen that department, and I think that'll be the first thing the guy will head for. But when McLeish went in Rangers, we had decent, good, strong players. This guy's not walking into that same scenario, guys.
Aye.
Are you saying that some of our centre halves aren't any good? Is that what you're saying, Davey?
Aye, don't get me going there, Brad, for God's sake. No, don't start me. Oh, Jesus, I've cut my wrist 3 times watching proper. 3 times I'll get scars up and doing my own.
Love it.
Listen, we know we need to get reinforcements. And what I'll say now, just get this out the road, there will be no show on Sunday due to everybody that comes on the show, works on the show, are at the game on Sunday. So we will only have a show, pre-show or an after show. We'll be back on Monday night at 8 p.m. Just putting that out there now so everybody knows. Aye, it's like anything, Davey, but we know we need to re-bolster the squad. I think some players that are there will be kept. Some will get chances in the squad. We might not be able to get rid of them straight away, but they've been there. They've done a season, like Ignaman, his first full season for his age and getting exposed to football, because we're trying to hold him back for a bit, and then we've flung him in. I think Yefty's been flung in at this level. He hadn't played before. He should be better for it. A season done the next season. Should nobody come in with bids. Raskin's my one. He's got 2 years left in his contract, and I think we either need to cash in the summer or we need to propose a contract to him and see if he's willing to sign it. And if he isn't, then I wouldn't be worrying about taking a chance the following season. I'd like him to stay. He'd sign an extension, and if we have a good season next year and somebody comes in from, then he goes. But I think just to give a bit of protection, Davey, with some of your players, and I think a few of them will still be there, contributing to the squad. You just can't win the whole team and expect to build a team in the summer, because it will not happen. So as much as maybe some have no rated or they've no showed up week in, week out, they'll still be there, and hopefully they'll have a better season starting next year. Bob Gia.
Absolutely. I hear you mention a succession of Rangers managers there. McLeish inherited Advocaat's team, if you remember. And at the tail end of his managership, you'll maybe remember the statement as well. It says, "I'd be the first ever skint Rangers manager." You remember that, boys? Some of you remember it? And I think that's when the financial implications with Rangers were starting to bite around about that time. And we've reached a juncture now where we're going to need yet again another manager, and whatever the financial implications are going to be with these people coming in remains to be seen. But they've got a hell of a job in their hands, and we all hope and pray that they get it right. And we can't push everybody in the squad out the door. We'll have to, see who we can keep and who's going to go away. But it must be set up right for next year to give them a challenge. To watch them walking away with year after year for the Lawyers is heartbreaking, and it's annoying, and it's depressing, all these adjectives. And they've got to be put right in place next year, because it'll not be long. When the season finishes, 4 or 5 weeks, you're back into it again. So, come on, the Rangers, eh?
No, that's it. Nowadays, it's a short turnaround. Players used to get 6 weeks off in that, maybe even up to 8 weeks at times. back in the day. But now it's no. They'll probably get 4 weeks probably for when the season finishes, and I think they'll need to be back into some form of pre-season training, because I think the 21st and 22nd of July is the qualifier, the first qualifier that we should be in.
Aye. Well, you probably get internationals to play as well, so even less of a break for them that's involved in that. But aye, it's just a whole, just wipe the slate clean with as many players as we can get out the door and start again. We don't like all this terminology, because we've said it basically every season, where we've not been winning or not been winning enough, certainly not winning the leagues, and that is the priority. That I think that's where we have went wrong big time with recruitment and with ranked choice of manager. We need to get the product in the park right before we start improving the stadium round about. The Blue Sky Lounges, the Edmondson House, your Bar 51 that fell through, even improvements in the training facility and that we've got, and obviously the wages is a killer. That's where the big mismanagement of the club has went astray. And obviously directors previous and past is that they've approved their deals on the recommendation of Ross Wilson or Michael Beale. But when you look back to that team, the Seville, just 3 years ago, the players that we lost because they ran down their contracts, where we could have been recruitment and refreshing it, and it's just been a nightmare. So we start again, but on Sunday, 50,000 Bears will be cheering us on and expecting a victory, and that's where we start.
Correct. Bob J, we're getting to that time.
Yep.
I'll ask you for your last words, and I'll also ask you for a score prediction that you think for Sunday.
Oh, right. Well, once again, thanks for having me, lads. I was a wee bit sort of a more than peed off of that performance last Saturday. That's why I'm not reading here all week. But I did listen to this show. Score prediction on Sunday. I'll go 2-1 Jars. There you go. I think that's a fair enough assessment, yeah. Because they're beatable. One of the lads said through the week when I was listening and all, they are beatable. We've got the beatings of them, and we can do it again. So hey ho, good night, boys, and I think it'll be 2-1 for the Rangers.
All right, Bob J, thanks for phoning in.
Lovely.
Like I say, this is the last show tonight till Monday.
Aye,
there'll not be a show on Sunday due to everybody being at the game. Okay.
I'll see you Monday, boys.
Right, thanks for phoning in, Bob J, as always. It's appreciated.
As always.
Cheers, Bob.
Davey, I know I'm going to see you tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah, you will. Don't worry about
that. Right, good.
Great show, boys.
Oh no.
It's all right. Oxy gave me a bum stare. He sent me a rang pub.
It's all right. You'll get notification in the morning. It's cool.
Anyway, it's the best show in town, guys. And I feel for all yous loyal. We're all loyal and true and blue. And we deserve, hopefully, what's coming to us. And just keep up the faith and keep believing, as we all say. And God bless the Gers, and you all stay safe. Good night, guys.
Right, David, thanks as always for phoning in, mate. You know, it's appreciated. Yep. Thoroughly enjoy you when you call in. And I'll see you tomorrow. We'll look forward to that. And I'm sure we'll have a good day and night. AK.
Good show tonight, Southside. Bridgeman, thanks to our callers coming in. Thanks again, Davey. I look forward to meeting you tomorrow in person. Look forward to Sunday now. It's an all firm game. There's never, it means something. It always means something, and it always will mean something. So let's scoosh them, shall we say? One a Ranger.
Aye, no worries. Thank you and all, AK, for helping us out with the show tonight. Thoroughly appreciated as always. Bridgeman.
Well, what can I say, Southside? Fantastic show tonight. Thoroughly enjoyed it. AK, marvellous. Thanks for carrying me through it, bud. can I just say the techie guys in the background as well, don't want to forget them. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world, I'll say it once again, biggest game of the season coming up. Biggest game of the season. Very, very important game for Rangers. We have to go out and beat them. I'm taking Rangers for a wee sneaky 1-0. We're going to mollocate them 1-0. That's what I say. So let's everybody please keep it going for the Rangers. And remember this, the Rangers need you. They need you sore. So keep it going.
Hey, Kay, quickly.
Just quickly there, Southside. I was looking some forums tonight. Unfortunately, we lost a bear last week. His daughter was putting some stuff out in the Rangers forums. A Raymond Patterson, 42-year-old, passed away last week, and they're looking for a minute's applause on Sunday. So the wee lassie Sophie would like that to happen for her dad. So God love him. Rest in peace.
Well, hopefully if enough word gets out there, something like that can happen, and hopefully for Sophie and the family, and sorry to hear the news, but hopefully maybe it'll happen on Sunday at the game. I'd like to thank you two personally for helping us out tonight. It's been thoroughly appreciated as always, and also thank Davey and Bob J for phoning in, and thank everyone out there for listening in, especially all the troops out there on YouTube, Facebook, MixLR, and everyone else listening in this evening. Thank the techie team, because without them there is no show. So we will be back on Monday now, because tomorrow's a Rangers Radio day out, and we'll see who all gets home that night and who makes the game. But everybody's planning to go, so there will only be a show till Monday. But as always, it's on to Sunday, and it's all about Rangers, so hopefully they'll take heed for Barry, they'll get in that park and do the support proud. We'll be loud and proud for the stands, and hopefully the Rangers will be loud and proud on the park and get us 3 points and get us 3 wins against them for one season, and that'll be the start, and hopefully that's the way it'll go in the future. So as always, thanks for listening. There's only one team and one crown. Take it away, Fox.